it at my end? Is that what you're saying?
No, you have to click it on Facebook for your group.
Well, this is show. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to click it right now. Something's happening. Yeah, it says when you're going live. Now, hey, are we on?
We're in my group. Let me see. Do I see you in
I don't see you though. That's the thing.
Oh, you need to click your streaming software.
I did. I clicked streaming software. Stream setup. You
already gave me the information, so it should come up.
Expand the video. No, event logs. Well, now what am I not doing right? It says when you're going live. It says now. Yep.
Hope you guys are loving this troubleshooting.
Oh, I don't know what to do.
Sunday, how you doing? Grace, how you doing? We got people, they've been waiting for us. They want to know these 7 streams, Scott.
I'm hearing you. So you're going to have to help me. Okay, what's your video about? I think it's making me do that again. 7 streams. Let me just put 7 streams of income.
If you guys are ready to learn about the 7 streams of income while we are troubleshooting how to go live, let me see some fire in the chat. Put some fire in the chat.
We're going to get there. We are going to get there. This is preset.
This stream into 2 groups thing is very new to us.
Connect video source. I bet that's it. No,
hey,
go live.
I see Gabe. Hey, we can see and hear you both well. Great. I appreciate that. We're working on getting things into Scott's group. If you're not in Scott's group is called My Deal Inc. Go over there and show him some love. Go join his group.
So, all right. So I got to ask you some questions. I got to ask you questions.
Right, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Because I don't know what to do.
Okay. So did you click the streaming software part?
So I clicked that. That's at the top of the page. Yeah, I clicked it. Streaming software. And then on the left side says create live video. It says connect video source. It will not let me click it. Well, and I don't know why. I can't see us on the video, and I can't click go live.
Okay. Give me your streaming key. Well, actually, let's see if I add that. Will that help?
That's My Deal Link.
Can you see us now?
No. Expand event logs.
Give me your.
Oh, here we go. You did something because there it is, and I can go live. I'm clicking it now. Boom.
Boom! We're in there. Oh, I found it. They laughing at us. As you guys can see.
By us, I hope they mean you.
As you guys can see, we are real people figuring out real solutions.
We are investors. We are not software people.
Yes.
Okay,
but we'll figure it out.
I can't see me live on my Facebook though. I don't see it. So, but
I see it.
You can see me on yours.
I just got the
see me on mine. That's the question.
No, I just got the notification.
You did?
I did. We're there.
With that.
Boom!
There it is. Okay, boom. We're on. Woo! Mercy. I don't know if you all heard all that stuff, and we're 19 minutes late. Listen, we're real estate investors and educators. We're not software people, okay?
We're learning.
We figured it out. It's really not the easiest thing to stream live on 2 separate Facebook groups. That's what it is here. So
yeah, we figured it out. So we're here.
Now that I got that, now I got to find you. Oh, here we go. Okay, so Martine, I can't wait to unpack a little bit here. First of all, I want to come back to the stuff that you presented the other day, and I really appreciate you just sharing, your own perspective on some of the things that you do. And it ended up being, it was a subject to kind of a property. Mm-hmm. I'm going to show you a subject to property on steroids. Okay.
Ooh, I love it.
Because there are 7 streams of income with this one property. Okay. I've owned this property it was like 7 years. It just sold late spring, I think it was. After 7 years.
Sounds like top of the market.
Top of the market. But one of the things we did, well, maybe I should save it for the presentation, because I want to show not only did I monetize it on a regular terms deal, but we did something else to that property that we're still waiting. In fact, well, we're going to make more money on that property, even though it already sold. And I'm going to share it. I can't wait to do that. But before we do that, do we have any other comments? Anything else we want to do? I want to see, is anybody watching here on mine? I can't see anybody. Probably because they thought we were going to be on at 2:00 and they left.
I think we got here after the 15-minute window. I think the only thing that kind of saved me was that we were live just in the wrong spot for me. So they're like, oh, I see they're trying to figure it out. But yeah, if you guys have questions, be sure to put the questions in the chat. We'll answer them towards the end of the presentation. And Scott has some good stuff for us. Do you want me to add?
Yeah, open up that PowerPoint slide. Oh, look at that. All right. Ooh. So this is, creative real estate made simple. That's really the platform that I'm on. I want to simplify this as much as I can. So we're going to kind of start with a kind of a 10,000 foot view, and then I'm going to bring us closer. And I want to unpack some things for you, but I want to give you some principles here along the way. Okay. And then I'm going to bring you to one of these properties. Okay. And all this is going to be tied to these 7 streams of income that you're going to want to know about. So I guess it looks like I can control this.
Yeah, you should.
Oh, look at that. Okay. So for those of you, if you haven't done this already, just take your phone, just like Martine was saying, just show me some love. Actually, I would be honored to be in my public group, because I post content all the time. And I'm just sharing in the overflow. Okay. I'm not hiding anything. There's no fine print. If I've got something on my mind, some nugget that I can give you that's helpful, that's what I want to be able to do. So you can just take your phone, take a snapshot of that, and then just jump in on My Deal Inc. and jump in on my page. And I think you won't get into it until I let you in. So that'll be after the event. But anyway, there we go. Maybe I should leave that there for another few seconds and let people do that. Hey, Martine, I actually have a person now looking in on my Facebook page. So that means it's really working. There's someone looking.
We want to see if this guy is legit.
Oh, I got 2 peeking in. Okay, now I'm ready to go.
I love it.
All right. In this game of real estate, there's no better hack than creative real estate. One of the things that I want to be able to say right up front is, when we get into creative, and by the way, that's really what you're doing too, Martine. You're doing creative. We're doing some different things creatively, but it's all under that umbrella. And I just know, because I've been doing this for some time, there are a lot of people out there that actually think creative real estate is this little separate niche that's off to the side. No, listen. Creative real estate is the big umbrella that embraces all of real estate. This should not be a little side thing. This should always be your first go-to. If we can teach you, if Martine and I can teach you some of the stuff that we know, it should be the first thing that you always pursue. And then you can work backwards from there. You could work yourself into a traditional deal if there's no other way of doing it, potentially, if you're a realtor or some other kind of investor. But I want you to start with creative, okay? Best hack that you're going to find. Okay. Did I do that right? Yes, I did. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So what would it look like for you to own your own properties with no debt? When I say no debt, there's no debt in your name. You're not going to show up on a credit statement or anything like that. No debt that's hanging over you, okay? So there's no debt. You don't have to use any of your credit, and you don't have to use any of your money. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have to use money. You're not using your money. What if I could show you that? What would it look like for you to actually get into the real estate business doing that very thing? Well, let's just start maybe with the question, well, what is creative real estate? I mean, is there like a formula or anything like that? Well, let me tell you what it is in this statement, okay? This is it. Never underestimate the value of 2 human beings coming together to work something out so that both sides benefit. That I would suggest to you is creative real estate. You got to believe that, you know what, if I'm talking to the right person, now you got to know how to have that conversation. This is the stuff that Martine and I, frankly, this is what we teach. This is what we inspire people with, to teach them a language. It's English, but it's still a new language. How do you have these conversations? Okay. If you go into these conversations really believing that two people can actually agree on something that works for both sides in a way that makes it beneficial, that is creative real estate. And by the way, you could use that statement for anything. You can do anything creative. You want to buy a cow? Well, creatively. How do you buy a cow creatively? Two people coming together and working something out that benefits both sides. That's how you do it. We'll give you a little bit of way about how to do that.
I love that, Scott. Like, you know, I don't know if it's a US thing, but it seems like here, like we think the only way to get things done is money. Like we have to pay for certain things with dollars. You can find other solutions creatively to get what you want and help someone get what they want.
Yeah. In fact, you know, all right. So you open this door. Our job really is this. Now, I want to be helpful along the way, but at the end of the day, I'm doing business. I mean, the primary motivation is I'm trying to take care of my family and my future, right? The secondary, so primary and secondary are close together. The secondary part of me says, but I want to be helpful as well. So I'm just maintaining both of those. But the ultimate motivation is I'm trying to build something here that makes sense for my well-being, for myself, my family, and even from when I'm gone. Okay. So I don't want anyone to ever hesitate about that. So we want to be helpful. So what I'm really doing is I'm helping the seller. In this case, I'm helping the seller get what they want so that I can get what I want.
And by doing that, you stay in business a long time.
Yeah. Imagine if you went at it the other way. I'm going to go to the seller so I can get what I want. No. You got to work with the seller so you can help them get what they want so that you can get what you want. That takes the lens and turns it just enough so you get the focus to go, yeah, I think I can get my head around that. So these are guiding principles here. Okay. This is why everyone kind of tuned in, right? Yeah, go ahead and take a snapshot of this, but I promise you're going to want to take some notes in between these 7. So I'm going to break it down here for you here real quick. Okay. By the way, if you see Martine, anyone has a question and you want to stop me, you just feel free to do that. Okay. So if you do creative, when I say the right way, and there are a lot of variations of doing it, but this is what a typical creative real estate deal in my world produces for income for me. These are the 7 streams I get from like one property. Okay. So I'm buying the property in most cases, I'm using the debt of the seller. Martine talked about this the other day. That's a subject to property. That means I'm buying the house subject to the underlying mortgage, the mortgage that's in the name of the seller. And guess what we're doing? We're keeping the name, that seller's name stays on that mortgage. That's why I don't have any debt in my name. Now, listen, I know, Martine, we probably have a couple of realtors listening going, you can't do that. Oh, yes, we can.
Yes, you can.
Oh, yes, you can. But you better have an attorney. And this is the stuff that we have. And I've got my paperwork. I work with multiple attorneys around the country. So, no, you can do this. You just got to know how to do it and how to do it right. Meaning it's legal, ethical, and all of that, okay? So I'm leveraging the debt of the seller. So obviously, a traditional seller is not going to say, yeah, you know what? I don't mind if my name is on that mortgage. Not a traditional seller. They're like, no way, man. I want all my money, and I want to go move to an island and go do whatever I want to do. As soon as I realize that's who I'm talking to, I'm like, number next, man. I'm moving on to my next lead. Because I'm looking for a seller that has a motivation. Sometimes it's pain. Sometimes it's inconvenience. And inconvenience can feel like pain. When I'm on the highway and someone's cutting me off, that's inconvenience. But it feels like pain, man. I'm like, it's not really pain, right? So we're looking to talk to the right people that we can have these conversations to see if we can structure it in a way that makes sense for them, okay? All right. So what happens is if I can get a house subject to the underlying mortgage, my exit strategy in most cases is to put something that I call a tenant buyer. I put a tenant buyer in that property. The vernacular that I use when I'm marketing is rent to own, but that's what we're talking about. It's a lease option. So I bring someone in on the back end, someone who cannot qualify for a mortgage right now. Well, who are those people? Well, it's multiple people. You have people that are self-employed, or if they're contracting out their services. Well, I know what they're doing. They're doing what I'm doing. I have a CPA, by the way. I pay well for my CPA, but my CPA saves me a whole lot more money than I actually pay him, okay? So I got a CPA that his job is you write off everything legally, ethically that you possibly can. And there are sometimes I look at what I don't pay for taxes and go, wow, because he's good. And this is all legal, right? So we're trying to show the minimum amount of income so we don't pay as many taxes. Well, guess who doesn't like that? Banks don't like that. So the bank says, oh, you only make this much. And so I've got people I work with that go, yeah, the bank won't lend me enough money for the mortgage. So they need a couple of years typically to redo how they do their taxes. In other words, they can't write off all that stuff. They got to show a higher income. So they're highly motivated people that make really good money that can't get a mortgage. Those people love to work with me. Then there are people who have some credit issues. Now, I'm not talking people that are in the 400s. Now, if I'm talking to someone in the 400s with their credit, they're going to have to give me 20% down. Well, guess what? People with credit in the 400s don't have 20% down, because if they did, they wouldn't be in the 400s, right? So I like mid 500s because you can't qualify for a mortgage in the mid 500s, but you're close. You got to just get into the 600s in most cases, right? And so that's a sweet spot where there are people that are motivated. They have money. They got into some credit issues. And there's a lot of reasons why people get divorced, they lose jobs, you have COVID, all this stuff happens, right? And people get into trouble. So that's a good place for me to go to work with people who are highly motivated. Okay, so when I put them in the house, I'm going to collect my first stream of income. I get an NROD. I love that acronym, NROD, non-refundable option deposit. That means I get a big fat check on the front end. And for anyone coming into any of my houses, they're not getting in for less than 10 grand. And if the house that I'm selling is $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, it's a whole lot more than 10 grand. So I get this big fat gold egg on the front end, and it's mine. I don't have to listen to me. This is what you want to write down. I don't have to put that in escrow. Not only that, guess what else I don't have to do? I don't have to pay taxes on that right now. Now, don't mishear me. I didn't say I don't have to pay taxes. Right now, there are only 2 occasions, Martine, that I'm going to pay taxes. And that's going to be if the tenant buyer buys the house. Usually I'm giving a 2-year window. If they buy the house within that 2 years, now I have to declare that down payment as income. And then I pay my taxes. But I'm not worried. So, you got to pay the tax in 2 years. Yeah, but I'm selling a house at a premium price. I get all that equity on the back end when they buy. And I say, here, I throw the money at the IRS. Here, take it. Change, right? So I'm pretty happy. That works out. The second occasion is if they leave the property. Their 2 years are up. They didn't do it. They don't want to do it. They move on. They lose their job. They get divorced. Something happens, and they leave the house. Now I have to declare that as income. Oh, so you got to pay the taxes probably in that 2 years. Yeah, but don't worry about it. If they leave, what am I going to do?
Get another one.
I'm going to go find another non-refundable option deposit with another tenant buyer, and I'll take out what I need that year from the NROD to cover my taxes, and I get to keep the change. So you see how that works? So I get first stream of income. I get an influx of cash on the front end, nice big fat check. Not only that, my second stream of income is I get these little gold eggs every single month called cash flow.
I love gold eggs. I love gold eggs.
You just showed every tooth in your head. You're like, cash flow.
You're speaking my language, Scott. You're speaking my language.
Listen, let me say something about cash flow and equity. Cash flow is the money you get to use to have a lot of fun with. You pay your bills. You can go on vacation. You can even take some of that depending on your level of cash flow. And I can, this will be a different segment that I could teach another time about how do you manage that money, because I'm always wanting to roll some of that even back into investing. Okay. But that cash flow is what allows you to live life from day to day and even have fun in the process. Mm-hmm. Wealth building is different. Wealth building is in that property you own. It's in the equity. It's in all those tax write-offs and all that other stuff. But that equity is where the biggest, fattest gold egg drops on your lap when that property finally sells someday in the future. That's where you get the majority of your wealth. Okay. All right. So now we got a third income stream. I'm hoping this is making sense to people. I can still see, I got a couple people peeking in at my end here. So, okay. Yeah. I don't see any questions though. That's okay.
We had one question over here, but it didn't have anything to do with what we were talking about. So I was going to say, let's leave it to the end.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So I just talked about the third one, which is that back end equity. That's where the real wealth building takes place. Okay. The fourth stream of income is the pay down of that mortgage debt. Remember, I started with so you're working with a seller who has a mortgage and you're buying it subject to the underlying mortgage. Mortgage stays in their name, but you get the benefit of that whole buy down. So what if you had that house for 10, 12, 15 years? I'll make up a number. I don't know. Let's say the mortgage balance was $200,000. Let's say the ARV, some of you may or may not know what that term really means, but in my world, ARV, of course, means after repaired value, but it means more than that. ARV in my world means here's what the top of the market looks like for a house like this one. And I'm more motivated by square footage than anything else. I'm not thinking fix and flip mindset. I'm looking at square footage. What does the top of the market look like? And when I sell creatively, guess what, where I can hit? If it's already in really good shape, I'm going above the top of the market. If it's kind of like, maybe a little work for equity, I'm at the top of the market. This is the beauty of doing business this way and doing it creatively. Okay. So I get the best of all worlds here. Okay.
Right.
So, all right. So I get that buy down of that mortgage. So let's say the house ARV is 250. I buy the house for the underlying mortgage of 200,000. 10 years from now, let's say there's 140,000 left on there. And let's say I bought the house for the underlying mortgage. 10 years from now, that ARV at 250, I'm making up a number, but it's going to be over 300 grand. Let's just say it's 325 in 10 years. And now my mortgage debt's 160. Can you add that up? 160 to 325. I mean, that's you're 100. I'm making it $160,000. Do the math. Can you do the math, Martine?
I think it is 160. You said 160, 325, 165.
165,000. And and what if you're cash flowing $500 a month for those 10 years? Okay, I want to unpack this. I'll show you that. So that's the value of the pay down mortgage debt that you get. See, so that's just it's a stream of income. You can't buy pepperoni for the pizza today with it, but you're going to be able to do something with that on the back end when you get this big old fat check to go boom shakalaka, pepperoni tonight, and who knows what else. Okay. All right. Pay down of the mortgage. Stream number 5 is depreciation. Now, I don't want to get too deep into this. I'm not a CPA. I'm not going to give you tax advice, but there is this benefit for any properties that you have that are rentals. And that's what these are. They're functioning as a rental. You're giving them a lease option, but there's a depreciation. The quick way to look at it is you get to take the value of what you bought the house for. It's what you bought the house for divided by 27 and a half years. Now, I bet there's some smart people out there, Martine, going, yeah, but there's something called accelerated depreciation. Yes. Go to your CPA and have that conversation. That's why I have a CPA. But that is a stream of income right there, because every dime that you can write off on your taxes is money that's not coming out of your pocket. That's a stream of income. Okay. Then you have appreciation. And that's what I was just saying here, right? So there's the 6th stream. Appreciation is today it's worth 250. 5 years from now, it's worth 280. 10 years from now, it's worth 325. That's appreciation. That's free value that comes to you in the future when you sell that house. That, my friends, is another stream of income. And then you have the last one, forfeited option deposits. That's when people walk away from the property. Now, I want to say this carefully. I never feel good about it. I don't feel good when people don't do what they said they were going to do to buy the house, meaning that they're going to lose their NROD. This is why NROD, N-O-N, non-refundable option deposit. If they don't buy that house, they don't get their deposit back. This is why you need the right contracts, which of course we have, and we're very dependent on our contracts, and with the relationships you have with your attorneys. So I do everything with my attorneys, okay? So they don't get their money back. Here's what I don't feel good about. You know, it's like 60 to 70% of people will not buy that house.
Right.
Good about that. But where I sleep at night is we're all adults here. And they know exactly what they're doing on the front end. That's why I have an attorney involved in this. And I probably tell them 10 times, you know, this is non-refundable, right? That you have to buy the house. If you don't buy the house, you're going to lose this. But things happen, guys. People get divorced, they get sick, they lose jobs, they move away, they change their mind. It's all kinds of reasons why. So there are your 7 streams of income. And now I'm gonna unpack. I may go through some of these here real quick, but I'm going to show you this property with those 7 streams of income.
Okay. I have a couple of these. I love it. Hey, Evelyn.
What would it look like for you to own properties with no debt, not using any of your credit or any of your money? What if you had tenants who were responsible for all maintenance and repairs? So in my world, I'm not a landlord when I put that tenant buyer on. No way, Jose. I do not want to be a landlord. Okay. Here's the biggest fear, though, that people have. They go, okay, all right, Scott, because at the end of the day, you need to learn how to have these conversations with the seller. And this is what most people are afraid of more than anything else. They're not as afraid of contracts and things like that. They're afraid of picking up the phone to do deals like Martine and I are trying to show you how to do. And so you're afraid you're going to get this guy on the phone. I don't know who you are, but I will find you. And then you think that I got to be the sleaze bag at the other end saying, so do you want a cash offer or no? This is not what we're doing here. We can teach you how to have these conversations. Okay. All right. You might be thinking, why would a seller ever do creative finance? Or why would a tenant buyer do a lease option rent to own? Sellers will do creative finance because they're highly motivated. They either don't want to pay extra commission, but they don't need to have the money right away. So they're willing to wait a few years to maybe get cashed out and get a full price. Some of them are in pain. I mean, I've rescued people literally out of their homes because they're in such a bad situation that no one else would have been able to rescue them from there. So there are a lot of reasons why a seller, depending on their circumstances, would be willing to do this. And I already illustrated about the tenant buyer. If they can't qualify, all of a sudden what I have looks really, really good for them.
Right.
So a lot of motivation. Okay, this is a house that was built in 1800, the year 1800. It's an old colonial. It's in central New Hampshire of all places. Okay, I'm trying to remember, maybe 1,800 square foot house. The inside of this place is really pretty awesome. It's kind of old school. It's old country looking. All these cedar boards everywhere, but it's really kind of nice. But it's not modern. But visually, it looks really, really cool. Okay, I'm going to unpack the streams of income that I was talking about. I got a total of 3 tenant buyers over the last 7 years on this property. Something like that. My first tenant buyer. So I bought this house for $145,000. There was no mortgage on this particular house, though. So the seller said they wanted 145, but they had a HELOC. You know what a HELOC is? A home equity line of credit of $22,000. So I met with these folks. I'm giving you the long story short. So I met with these folks, and we agreed that I would pay off their HELOC so they didn't have to worry about the HELOC. And they gave me 5 years to go ahead and cash them out of the house. And because I paid the HELOC, I never paid them anything per month. I got 100% finance 0% interest. I paid them nothing other than the $22,000. Well, where did I get the $22,000? Where do you think I got it, Martine?
Well, I've heard this story before. I don't want to. I don't want to tell them.
I went to a private lender. Now, this was someone that I went to church with.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I was sort of talking in the overflow of, some of the stuff that I get to do in real estate. And all of a sudden they had interest and we got into a conversation and they did the private lending. So I didn't use my money, but I had a really good house, 22 grand. So I paid them on that 22 grand. I forget what it was, $165 a month. The rest was taxes and insurance, and the rest was all cash flow. Okay. So this first tenant buyer didn't even last a year. The primary breadwinner in the family lost her job. And 6-7 months into it, she contacted me and said, I can't do it. We're moving out. Now, they didn't treat the house great. They didn't ruin it, but they just didn't treat it great. It probably cost me $2 or $3 grand to polish it up a little bit, but that's okay. I got a $10,000 option deposit from her. And I turned around and put a second buyer in there. Now, keep in mind, I bought it for $145, paid $22 on the front end. I owe the $120, whatever that was, $123 on the back end. So within 6 to 7 months, I put a second buyer in, but look at
excuse me.
Whoops, my price went up by 10 grand. Now my option price is $189.9. This family, nice family. This guy had evidently a long commute. He did 1 year. And he went right to the end of the first year. And he said, he called me, he never missed rent. And these guys treated the house nicely. And he said, I just don't want to keep driving all this driving that I got to do. We're going to move and we're moving on. Walked away from the 10 grand. So now I got $20,000 of non-refundable option deposit. That was mine because that's what we agreed to. I brought in my third tenant buyer. Now, it's not like when I brought the third tenant buyer in, the price was $299.9. I think the price at that point was like $209.9. But I put him in like a 3-year term and he didn't buy. But he was paying rent and we just left him alone. He kept paying rent. Rent was $2,200 a month. All I had to pay was taxes, insurance, and my private lender like $165. So we're cash flowing those last couple of years like $1,500 a month on this humble home right here. Okay?
That's what I'm talking about. $1,500 a month
on that one house. Okay, so then he comes to me. He's already lost his option. He says, I want to buy the house. I said, well, we're going to have to negotiate a new contract. And this was on the other side of COVID. And you know what happened with COVID, at least up here, real estate skyrocketed. So we got, and this guy bought. So we extended him and he bought and we sold it essentially for $300,000. But when we did that negotiation, we had already, this is sitting on like 2.1 acres of land. We scabbed off an acre of land, got it approved with the town, and we kept 1 acre and we sold the house with the 1.1. So that sold this past spring that we did for the 300 grand. We're on the market right now. We're under contract. We're supposed to close September 13. We're selling that piece of land for $80,000. So not only
you forgot about that stream of income. Subdividing 8 streams of income.
There's an 8 stream. Listen, we can keep going with it, right? Okay, so these are the quick numbers, and then I'm going to wrap this up for any questions that you might have. Okay. So what I got, because this guy put $11,000 non-refundable deposit. Okay. So over those years, I got $31,000 in non-refundable option deposits. My cash flow, and it's well over 80, but I went with 80. My cash flow is 80,000. And then my cash later is essentially the 300. But out of that 300, I got to pay back my private lender and my seller. That's 145. So if you take your calculator, we're going to say 300,000, right? Plus 80,000 equals 380 minus 145. So my profit in about 6.5 years was $235,000 profit on a house that I got owner financing for $145,000. Now I'm selling that land for 80 on top of that. that's $315,000.
But if that's not enough to make you come to the blueprint, I don't know what is.
Now, is this typical like with every deal? No. But I've got multiple, I can show you multiple properties where these kinds of scenarios play out this way. Okay. I'm going to just blow through this. All right. So here's how it works. When I say fail, I don't mean fail like lose your shirt fail. That's what you need us for, because we've already been through it. And we have a limp, by the way. I mean, I'd love to tell you that I came into investing and I never messed anything up. No, I did. Those early, well, the first couple of years were rough, man. And I got hit. I made some bad decisions and stuff. I got a limp when I walk, but I learned a bunch of stuff. And we want to save you from that. But the failure is stepping out and saying, okay, so you start making calls and it doesn't work right away. That's okay. Fail as fast as you possibly can so you can learn from it. This is what we want to show you. So you're going to learn and then you're going to enhance quickly. And that's how you put yourself on the path to not just maybe having a little bit of money to have some fun, but to build real wealth for your well-being today and for your family, even when you're gone. So that's what we want to continue to talk to you guys about. That's what I got.
That was great.
I'm going to go back over to my page. All right. So
we've got some questions here.
Questions, thoughts?
Well, I see a question here. It isn't about what we've been talking about, but it says, what tools/resources do you use to determine whether to rent traditionally or to Airbnb?
Well, my first move is to always stick a tenant buyer in there, because look what I just showed you with the streams of income that I get. If I could get, so let's say it's a humble home like I was just showing you, and I can get 10 grand up front and I can cash flow 1,500 and I don't have to manage the property. I'm happy to let it go. Now, if I'm in a market that I could show that, hey man, I could make $4,000 a month in short-term rental. Okay, I may sacrifice that NROD. I might, right? Because I go, man, that's 48 grand a year in cash flow. Right. Now, I may be exaggerating my point to make the point. So this is what we call deal structuring. So you can do multiple exit strategies and then look at the one that serves you the best. Again, for me, I want to hold it as long as I can. I don't want to have to manage it if I can help it. The last thing I want to do is be the direct landlord of a renter. Now, I do have other properties that I have renters in, but I use a property management company. They don't even know I exist. The tenant doesn't know I exist. My tenant buyers know I exist, but they're not calling me. Because if they did, I'd say, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you can get it fixed because it's in the contract, right?
Right.
So that's really the difference. The difference is you got to know how to deal structure. So if I can say one more thing on this, Martine, don't marry yourself to one technique and go, oh, I love short-term rental. Listen, I've done a lot of short-term rental and I love it too, but I'm not married to it. So for me, I want to go in objectively and look at a property and say, what's my best exit strategy? How do I get the most bang for my effort? I wanted to say bang for my buck, but it's not my buck. I'm not using it. So you got to know how to exit. You have to know how to deal structure so you can pick the best exit strategy.
Yeah, and I think like for me, because, I like being a landlord. After Scott says being a landlord sucks, but I like being a landlord. You have to make sure that whatever deal you're doing will work as a regular yearly rental. Because what if whatever locality you're in, they shut the short-term rentals down? You want to make sure that you can still make money. And then also one thing that I like to look at is, where am I in my business? Is this my first rental? If this is my first rental, I'm not looking to do a short-term or a mid-term rental. I want something that's more stable. I don't want it to be when COVID hits, there are no more guests and I have no more income coming in. I want it to be something that's stable. They had programs during COVID. They had programs to help with the people that were on yearly leases. They did not have that for short-term rentals. So just look to see where you are in your business, but make sure that whatever you're doing, it does work for a long-term tenant, because you may have to revert back to that.
Yeah, that's all good. So this is great dichotomy here, right? Look at how we're different on those, and that's what's unique about, I think, what we're doing, because you and I are joining sort of our forces together to go, how do we bring the most and the best to the people that we really want to be helpful to, right? In real estate. So this is unique, and I'm excited about it. I want to unpack more of that in the weeks to come, and then in our 2-day event, because that's where we get to give the whole enchilada, as they say.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great.
Somebody said, the person that asked the question says, I love being a landlord too.
Well, that's good. I have
another question.
I love being a collector of fat, non-refundable option deposits.
I hear you. I do have another question on my side. It says, what language is in your contract that gives you the ability to not landlord? They have it in parentheses.
Huh. Well, again, so it's not using that term, not landlording. It's outlining what they're responsible for. Okay, so what we do in our contracts, we make it clear that for the first 30 days, now this is my language. This is when I'm working with my tenant buyer to bring them in, I say, we're going to cover the 4 biggies for 30 days. What do you think those 4 biggies are? The things that people worry about the most: heat and air conditioning, roof leaking, plumbing, and electrical. So, we're not responsible for if it's 2 months from now, the toilet's dripping or whatever, they're responsible for that. So for the first 30 days, we're saying, make sure you let us know if there's any issues on those 4 big ones. You got to let us know, and we'll take care of it. And now when I'm saying stuff like that, I mean, I don't even know if I can remember a time. Maybe we have once or twice. I can't remember one right offhand where someone within the 30 days said, hey, the roof's leaking or something. I'm pretty confident about what I have before I put somebody in there. Okay.
Right.
And I'm not trying to stiff anybody either. So we build that in, and then we make it very, very clear. Now you got to have the right legalese language. This is why don't go grabbing a contract and just writing it up yourself. I'm begging you, don't do it. You're going to regret it. Don't worry about paying the attorney. Yeah, you got to pay them that one time, but once you got it for your state and where you're doing your work, now you got it, and you can incorporate it into your contracts with other tenant buyers that you bring in. But your attorney, you should be happy to pay your attorney. I know that sounds counterintuitive. Be happy to pay your attorney and be happy to pay your CPA.
Right.
That's looking out for you. Okay, you got to get that language right.
Okay. Well, I think that about wraps up what we got here today, Scott.
All right. That was fun.
That was fun. And I just want to let you all know that we are sharing small things that we'll be doing at the Financial Freedom Blueprint, which is going to be September 25th and 26th. It's a 2-day virtual seminar. I'm going to put the link in under the video. What's your code, Scott?
Oh, so it's my deal, one word. Just put it in one word, my deal. And because you're in this and you're watching this now, just like what Martine did last week, we want to offer this bonus because you're taking advantage of some of the stuff right now. So there'll be $100 bonus. So it's $297 is the cost for the event, which is really cheap. But anyway. But we're going to give you $100 bonus on that. So it'll be $197. You got to just put that code in, my deal. And of course, that's because I'm My Deal Inc. Right. That's my Facebook handle, My Deal Inc. So just put my deal for that, for the code.
I put the wrong link in there. I'll do it again. That link's wrong, guys. Let me do it again.
You can use the same link that you did last week, because either one of those will work.
Yeah, it's the same link. It's just the last one we did, I put my code instead of yours. But
yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, we'll see you guys at Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.
We got something good as always coming for you.
All right. Martine,
Alrighty.
always good to see you. I love your laugh. That's what keeps me going, man. I love it. Look at it. I see every tooth when you smile.
Alrighty. Well, talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Yeah.